what I'm doing, but I'm waiting for you. And girl, I waste my time and spend it on my wishes, just wishing.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, Kelly Legends Media. Okay, before I begin, I want to thank all the subscribers, all of you who stopped by the channel while clicking through the different options to watch, and those of you who chose to watch this video. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. All of you hit those like buttons and hit those hype buttons. Yes, I'm very grateful. It's a good way to support the channel. Doesn't cost anything. Okay, so today's video is going to be about a situation that a young rapper found himself in. Okay, the young rapper is known as P Face, was down in the trenches, over by where his barrio is and stuff. And from what I understand from the story, there was some law enforcement agency there in the vicinity. But not only them, there was also his ops around. Okay, and a carload of them kind of pulled up on him, start wolfing shit to him and stuff, and he boned out. Okay, he boned out, reached a certain driveway, ran down the driveway, and kind of ducked down behind a car. Most likely being afraid that, he was going to get capped on. They're going to pop the blowgun on him. Anyways, people start making videos about him, clowning him about this, and, saying that it wasn't gangster of him to take off like that from his ops. But I have to disagree with that. There's a time to stay and fight, and there's a time to shake the spot so that you can live another day and do what you got to do. Okay, what he did at the time he felt was appropriate. He has a carload of ops driving alongside of him, and most likely his thoughts were they were gonna, pull that blower out on him and let him have it. So he wasn't carrying anything himself, or he probably would have just stood his ground. But he decided, man, I'm gonna take off. He didn't take off like a bat out of hell. He was more or less just jogging, looking back at them, waiting to see what they were doing. Came to a driveway and ducked in. And then when he found a good spot, he ducked behind a car. There was one content creator that was trying to make a joke out of it, saying that he ran down the driveway, and when he got to the end of the driveway, he fell. He just dropped. But obviously, he was trying to preserve his life. He didn't know how that situation was going to end, and he wasn't holding the cards to play that hand. In my opinion, he did the right thing. He did the only thing he could do in that situation. Even if they wouldn't have pulled the blower out on him, they could have easily got off and still poked him full of holes. So he was in a very precarious situation. Now, was that gangster or was that being a coward? In my opinion, that's just human instinct. You want to survive. It's either fight to the death or survive for another day. There was a few situations that I was in when I was younger. I told one story about the guys from El Monte Flores. The guy that I was with ended up leaving me, took off running, and I was there alone by myself with a carload. And they were getting off with their blades and different items that they chose to use as weapons on me. And I had nothing and I was alone. So, I did what I felt I needed to do, and I left. I shook the spot. They chased me desperately for a long time, and I knew if they caught me, uh, they were gonna have to scrape me up off the ground and take me to a hospital, or I may not have survived it. I don't know. There was another situation that I hadn't talked about. I was with my homeboy Checo, rest in peace. And Porky from Lote was driving, and there was another guy with him. I'm not sure if it was Mundo from Lote or Beto from Lote, but these guys were putting in work on in our neighborhood. We were going back and forth, very very serious barrio warfare at the time. Well, me and Checo, we didn't have anything, and dude jumped off with a shotgun. Uh, I'm not sure who it was. It was either Manny or Beto. He jumped off with a shotgun. We didn't have anything, so we jumped the fence in front of the house where they caught us. We jumped over the fence. We went up the driveway. We seen a bunch of bricks piled up, and we grabbed some bricks, and then went back to the opening of the driveway and start firing bricks at the car and at them. Okay, and that was all we had for defense. But as soon as they would have passed the gate and ran up towards us, there was nothing for us to do but to shake the spot. It didn't come to that. They ended up just chalking it up, for what it was. They got in the car and they left. But if we would have stood there on that sidewalk and tried to talk masa and try to, pump our chests out and all that, one of us might have gotten dropped that day, maybe both of us. And man, trust me, I've never been a coward. And my homeboy Checo, he never showed a ounce of cowardness in him. But we defended ourselves the best we could. It was two guys against two guys. The two guys were our ops. They had a rifle, a shotgun. We didn't have nothing. We found something when we went up that driveway. We found some bricks, and that's what we used to hold them at bay, basically. But as far as what the little homie did, yeah, he went into survival mode. He didn't know what these characters were, what they had or what they were going to do, and he was alone. So I wouldn't penalize them for that or talk down on them for that. I've been in those situations. I know how it goes. There was another video on this youngster where I guess the law enforcement went to his pad, and they were trying to talk him to come out of his house, and he was like, "Well, where's a warrant?" They didn't have a warrant. And he was like, "Man, you guys don't even got a warrant." And one of the cops had put his arm through the window, I guess trying to open the door or something, and he told him, "Man, what gives you the right to even put your arm into my house, and do what you did? You don't even have a search warrant." He goes, "Well, don't worry about a search warrant. We got the place surrounded." Then he started trying to play on the little homie's feelings, talking about, what's up, man? Like, this is how you guys get down. You scared? Like, come on outside. Come out and play. Kind of an issue, And the homie was basically like, "Nah, man, you guys ain't even got a warrant." And the cop tried to tell him, "That's just on TV, man. Miss me with that. Come outside." Anyways, it doesn't show how that situation end. But obviously, if they don't have a warrant, the best place for you to do is just stay inside. Because if they go in after you without a warrant or without real probable cause, then you have something to use for your defense. Obviously, if you did something and you're running into your pad and they're chasing you, they're going to go in after you. Trust me. Or if you open the door and they see something from their line of sight, like maybe a rifle leaned up against a wall or something, or and they know you're an ex-con, they're going to come in regardless. Whether you're on parole or not, or probation or not, they will. That's probable cause for them to go in and find out, who's a registered owner, why, who has it. Uh, there's questions to be answered. But anyways, as far as this youngster goes, I think he played his cards right in this situation. And I don't know what all the cap's about. I don't know. In other words, I don't know why they're making fun of him. You know, I'm sure a lot of people under different circumstances had to use their brain at some point in time and shake the spot when the odds weren't right, or it just wasn't fair. You can't take a knife to a gunfight. So, anyways, I think there's a lot to learn from the youngster. And I hope he learned from his experience with these situations. This guy, I'm not saying he has a promising career, but he signed to a record deal, from my understanding, and he has a craft. He's a rapper. He has a way to make money, to come up. I think he should focus on that first. That, and being able to provide for his family, take care of his family, have a home for them, and do the right thing by them, rather than be all up in the trenches, uh, running around tagging on things, putting putting himself in harm's way, like he did that one day where his ops happened to roll up on him. He should be focused on his career and what he's got going for himself. That's just me as an older homie that has been through it. The advice that I would give to him himself. Any youngsters out there, man, this is the kind of stuff that you'd be dealing with frequently. Well, at least over where I lived in my neighborhood, I mean, that was just normal program, constantly getting rolled up on. And if you didn't have a banger, man, you were pretty much a victim. Anyways, gotta make good choices, man. Good decisions with your life, because tomorrow's not promised to you. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Give the little homie a break, man. What he did was instinct. He knew he was either way, no matter what. He wasn't armed, and he was his ops, just too many of them, and it wasn't like he ran away like hauling ass. He just jogged it, like looking back at him. And I'm sure if he needed to, he would have picked up his speed and boned out, But these fools didn't pull nothing out, and he was able to get down that driveway. And I guess something told him, man, just duck, man, just in case they dump before they drive off. And basically, that's what they ended up doing. They ended up capping on him, driving off. Just the fact that they made him react that way was enough for them, But it could have been a different situation. It could have been somebody that was really with the function, and that wasn't going to suffice. They might have gotten off, went down that driveway, and handled their business, So I think he's a fortunate young man that he did what he did, and he's alive today, Anyways, this is my video for today, people. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay free. Hope to see you on the next video, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So if you haven't joined or subscribed to the channel, and you watch the videos, it would be highly appreciated if you went ahead and subscribe. We're still trying to hit that 10,000 subscriber goal. So hope to see you on the next video. Take care.